So we're looking at micro lesson number 11, which is the closing of the class. So the whole point of this lesson is basically to be closing the class in a positive and relaxed way. And there's lots of different ways that we can be doing it. We are going to show you the main way that we do it in the ashram, but there are lots of options of how you want to close the class, and it might depend on how long the class has gone for, what's been involved in the class, which kind of students you have, if they're new students, if they've been coming for a long time. There's lots of ways that you can change it around or to make it a little bit more interesting. So to go through the steps of closing of the class, so first you want to make sure that everyone comes and sits down in a meditative pose. So just like we do with the opening, you can give some examples of positions that they can sit in, making sure that they are going to be nice and comfortable. And then you want to just give some instructions to make sure their spine is upright, their head is upright, their shoulders are relaxed, their chest is open, all those nice things to make sure they feel comfortable. Then you can ask them to close their eyes and then start bringing awareness to the breath. And you might do a little bit of breath work for a while if you prefer to do that. Otherwise, you can ask them to remember their resolve, the resolve they made at the beginning of the practice. So especially if they remember that on the inhalation, it's much more powerful. So you may say, inhale, remembering your resolve, and exhaling, breathe normally. So you can do the resolve there. There's another option of where you can do the resolve, which I often do too, which is right at the end of the class. So after you've done the mantras and you're just finishing off and you've done your Om Shanti, again, remembering the resolve. So either of those places is fine to do. And if you haven't used a resolve in the class, then you can skip that one. But it does help to have that resolve because it reminds them why they're practicing yoga, and it gives them motivation and it can give them direction. And then we move to chanting of the prayer. So we chant the prayer and we allow the time afterwards for the students to repeat it. If you've got a small group or they're very new, you might be repeating it as well with them. And you can but make sure that you chant beforehand so that they know what to say and then they can repeat it. And you also want to make sure that you break it down. So you don't want to chant really long lines and expect them to follow that. It's important that it's nice and easy to copy. So chanting of the prayer, and then we have chanting of Om. So here it's written down chanting 11 times. If you have enough time, then 11 is very good. If you don't have enough time, you could do 7 Oms, you can do 3 Oms, you can do 1 Om, but it's always good if you can do a little bit more because it is another form of meditation. And then you can finish with the Shanti mantra, so the Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, and you can repeat that 3 times. If you're doing just a couple of Oms, then you might repeat that only once. But again, the chanting of the Om Shanti does make them feel a lot more peaceful and calm and focused. After you've done the mantras, then you will ask them to take the position of Parvatasana, the mountain pose, and release it. And then again move to Shiranagat Mudra, the surrender pose, still in sitting position, and then releasing it. And then the final position where they come into standing and do Vrukshasana, the tree pose, and release. So that's how we are doing the closing of the class. Now we do those 3 asanas at the end because they just help to relieve any kind of stiffness that can be there from sitting. Like for example, you've done the asanas, you've done some relaxation. It may have been that they did some pranayama or some meditation. So at the end, just to have a little bit of relief for the spine from that sitting position, those asanas can be very helpful. And Shiranagat Mudra, the surrender pose, is also very helpful for that letting go and starting to connect with the higher energies, or also with that energy that guides us too. So just look at the bottom note here. It says that you don't have to chant the final prayer. If you prefer to have another prayer, you can do that. It doesn't have to be in Sanskrit. It can be in another language, whatever you feel comfortable to do. If you don't want to have any kind of prayer, you can have like a longer relaxation. You might want to do some kind of visualization. You might want to have positive affirmations. You might want to read like a yogic poem. So there's lots of different options that you can choose, remembering that the purpose of this closing is to allow them to have a nice relaxation, to give them focus, to remember why they're practicing yoga, and to be able to finish in a nice, positive way. So you can choose what you're going to be doing at the end. Remember also, if you need notes for any kind of prayer or mantra, you can have them. We do ask that you do chant Om, because if you chant Om, then you'll get a lot of practice done, because in your final exam you will be marked on your chanting of Om. So when you do Om, remember that you're going to chant it and then everyone else is going to repeat it after you. So this is about micro lesson number 11, closing the class. Just another thing, you might choose a particular mantra and you want to repeat it. So it might be, say, Mahamrityunjay mantra. You might want to chant that 3 times, or Gayatri mantra 3 times. So there's lots of other options if you prefer them. As you know, we are doing the Durga Smrita prayer, which is like prayer to Mother Nature. So a lot of people feel very well connected with that. So now we'll look at the checklist. So in the checklist, first you want to make sure that you're going to give them options for sitting positions. So we've put some options here like swastikasana, auspicious pose. You can say the Sanskrit name and you can say the English name. The more you say the Sanskrit, the more it will sink in. And if you need to have any notes, remember you can. Then you're going to make sure that you tell them to put their hands in a mudra, whether it's Dhyan mudra or another mudra of your choice. Then talking about the body position, so how we want the body to be before we go into the form of meditation and mantra. So closing the eyes, keeping the spine upright, all of this kind of thing. A little bit of relaxation instructions are definitely going to be very helpful because the whole purpose is for that relaxation. So you might talk a little bit about the face or the jaw, which is very common, the shoulders, the back. Those are the most common areas that can have a lot of tension in. And then you want to talk about the breath. So it might be that you just tell them to breathe normally, or you might tell them to take a deep breath in and slowly breathe it out. It might be that you say inhaling positivity and exhaling negativity. It might be that you say inhaling peace, calmness, positivity, exhaling any stress, any tension, any worries. So there's lots of ways that you can be talking about the breath. And then you're going to have the chanting. So we've got chanting of Om. And of course you can decide if you're going to do the prayer or you're going to do something else. Whatever you want to do is fine. So remembering when you chant Om that you're going to chant it and they're going to repeat it, and just notice the volume, the length, and also the sound that is coming. So remember that you want to do the A sound, then a U, and the M sound, and it becomes very natural. You just start with the sound of like and then you slowly start closing your mouth, and as you naturally close your mouth, the sounds will change. And I would actually recommend that you try practicing a little bit more by yourself, and then you'll get a good idea of the sound, and you'll find the right pitch for you as well, which is also really important because everyone's Om does sound a little bit different, and if we're chanting it at the wrong pitch, then it will start to create tension in our jaw. So have a little practice with chanting of Om, and you see the last point, the voice should be calm, have a nice volume, be smooth, confident. I would also add it should be nice and clear, easy to understand. So that's the checklist for micro lesson number 11, and we've got a short example here. where we've done the final prayer and we've chanted Om and Om Shanti. We've just done a few less Oms just to make it shorter for you. But otherwise 11 Oms is always good. Hari Om.
Hari Om. So we're going to be closing the class now. So if you can come into any comfortable meditative position, whether it's Sukhasana, the cross-leg position, or Ardha Padmasana, the half lotus, Padmasana, the full lotus, Swastikasana, the auspicious pose, Siddhasana, the perfect pose, or Vajrasana, the thunderbolt pose. Come into any position that feels most comfortable for you to be in. And we're going to bring our hands into Dhyan Mudra, the meditation gesture. So this is where we're pressing our index fingers and thumbs together, and the backs of our hands are touching our knees. Keeping your spine upright, your shoulders are relaxed and your chest is open and your head is upright. And gently closing your eyes. Taking a deep breath in and out, and again in and out, allowing your body to relax. And we're going to be chanting the final prayer, so you can repeat after me, and then we'll be chanting Om. Durge Smrta Harsi Vitim Ashesha Janto Swaste Smrta Mati Mativa Shubhan Dadasi Daritya Dukkha Paya Hardika Twadanya Savopaka Karnaya Sadadra Chitta Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Savata Sadike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayane Namostute. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Remembering your resolve, bring your hands together, rubbing your palms, placing them over your eyes, and then very slowly starting to open your eyes and your closed palms, and slowly releasing. We'll move into Parvatasana, the mountain pose, so interlocking your fingers turning your palms out, stretching up. Inhale and exhale to the side. Inhaling up, exhale other side. Inhale up and exhale, bringing your arms down. Now we'll move into Sharanagati Mudra, the surrender pose. So inhale, raising your arms above your head, palms together. And exhaling, slowly bending forward as far as it's comfortable for you to go. Your hands may reach the ground. You may have your forehead on the ground, and breathing normally, allowing your body to relax and letting go towards that higher energy, the energy that guides, Mother Nature, whatever feels comfortable for you. Now exhale and inhaling, raising your arms up, and exhaling, bring your arms down by the side. From here, releasing your legs, checking out your legs, and we'll move up into standing position. So bending one knee towards you, bring your foot close, lifting up, bending your other knee, coming onto your toes, coming up to standing. So from standing position, we'll move into Vrikshasana, the tree pose. So inhaling, raising your arms above your head and lifting your heels, finding a point to focus on, breathing normally, stretching from your toes to your fingertips. Now inhale and exhale, bring your heels down, arms down, Hari Om.